So this over here is lead metal. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a darkish gray metal. It's very heavy, even though it's a pretty small quantity. I got this from a store. These are fishing sinkers, I think. And over here I mashed them up into this. It's very soft metal, so you can just hit it with a hammer and kind of mold them together. So I have a couple pellets of lead here, and then I have this over here, this kind of rock. So my friend gave this to me a while back. I told him I'd inspect it, and I just could not tell what this is. And I know there's a couple ways to identify minerals with like streak color and stuff like that. And I don't have unglazed ceramic, so I don't know how to do that. But just by looking at it, it's very shiny. It looks a lot like galena, which is lead ore, lead sulfate, or sulfide, I mean. And yeah, it's very shiny. It looks metallic, and it's very heavy too. There's some rock at the bottom there too. So I can't tell, but I'm going to do a couple tests and see if this really is lead ore. So the first test I'm going to do is a weight test. So I'm just going to grab two of these and compare it with this, which is a bunch of pencil lead, which is graphite. Now before I thought, oh, it's probably graphite because it kind of looked like it, but it's just so heavy, it just does not seem like it. Because graphite is carbon, carbon's very light. So I'm gonna pour some in the speaker and see how much it weighs. 22 grams, and I'll compare it with the other. So I put 6 pieces in there and it weighs exactly 22 grams. So that means that this is the equivalent to this. So I think there's definitely less of that in there than the carbon, but it is pretty similar because these are dense. They're just rock, and these are little pieces of graphite. So it actually has a pretty decent chance of being graphite. I was definitely not expecting this. I thought like 2 pieces would be 22 grams. Another thing to identify it is by the luster, which is basically the look of it, or the shine. And for this, you can tell it's very shiny. The light is just reflecting right off of it. And I checked graphite's luster, and it's more of like a metallic to dull. And this definitely does not look dull at all. It's extremely shiny, even though this is old too. So maybe it isn't graphite. But another thing that it could also be is molybdenite, which is very similar looking to graphite, except more metallic looking. Now, one key difference about galena and molybdenite is the density. They have a pretty big difference in density. Molybdenite is around 4.4 density, and galena is like a 7 point something. So it's much more dense. And like I can tell this is very heavy, but I don't have anything to compare it with. Now, the only difference I can think of that I'm able to test is with streak color. Molybdenum has a darkish green streak. So they both have a streak of black, but molybdenum is more darkish green than galena. So I guess I'm going to have to try to find some sort of area that I can test the streak color. So I found a wall in my basement that might work. I'm going to test this out. And yep, that works pretty good. You can see the streak color there. And I see no sign of darkish green. It just looks gray or kind of black, sort of like a pencil. After all that comparison, I definitely thought it was galena after all, but when I looked up some pictures, I could tell for sure this was more of molybdenite than galena because of the fracture. The last comparison I wanted to make, I didn't even realize I should have compared the weight of both of these, lead and the molybdenite, or at least I think. So these pretty much look like the same quantity. So I should at least get a similar result. So let's try with lead. The bags don't really do anything. 31 grams. Let's try this. And 26, very close. But this is pretty small amount, and it's still more than this. So now I really think this is molybdenite. Well, I guess I can conclude that this is probably molybdenite. But you can go in the comments and let me know otherwise about what you think.